Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this guide I will show you 4 things you didn't know about static anti-air. And to be honest, it's one of these things that we all know is there but no one really cares about. I've been playing this game since 2016 now and I never really bothered to look into the mechanic of how it really works. And I don't think I'm alone here. I think it's almost compared to going to the dentist. We all know it's a really good idea, but still you don't want to go unless shit really hits the fan. So I did the only right thing. I spent half my day testing how this actually works, and I didn't expect much, but at the end of the day, I came across a few things that I think is really worthwhile, and I don't think many people know about. So enjoy. Here it is. Alright, so let's start with the first one, which I also think is the weirdest one. The thing is that for each static anti-air that you have in a given air zone, so for example, if we look at Western Poland here, for each static anti-air I have in that zone, that anti-air will help me reduce my enemy's air power projection with 5 for each static anti-air I have. And that is the equivalent of 5 fighters constantly in the air with 100% efficiency on air superiority, basically. So if I would build, for example, 5 static anti-air in a zone, that would be 25 air power projection reduced from my enemy, which would be the same as having 25 fighters in the air fighting off my enemy constantly. And also, what is weird with it is that it's a bit bugged when it comes to the tooltip as well. So if I hover here now, you see that the Germans have 800 fighter planes in this zone. And the Poles have 2 anti-air guns in this Western Poland region. And you see here that the Germans should have 568 air power projection, but they only have 558, even though it says that it's reduced by 0 in this zone. So the tooltip lies a little bit because the air power projection is reduced by those 2 anti-airs. However, the tooltip does work if I, as Poland here, put 100 fighters in the air, activate, and then I toggle back to Germany. I am on pause, and then you see you have enemy fighters in the air, and now the tooltip works as well. But the air power projection is still the same from the German perspective as it looks right now. All right, so how does this help you in the game and to what degree? Well, as some of you know, air superiority and power projection helps you lower the defense stat in land battles in that given zone. So if I, as Germany now, attack the Poles here in this zone, you see that I have a debuff on the Poles defense stat on 29.4%. So if I then, as Poland, would have even more static anti-air everywhere. Now I have cheated so it goes quick. And let's tag back to Germany. You see that the stat drops a bit. It's because I added a lot of reduction to the air power projection that I have as Germany. So that's how it works, and it can be useful in many different ways, but it's a good mechanic to be aware of when using static anti-air, or how you can use them as well. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to show you is probably a bit more in line with what you expect from static anti-air. It's that it helps you reduce the damage that strat bombing is doing to your buildings in a given region that is being bombed. So if I now click on, let's talk to Poland, and then I click on this region here, for example, I have 0 static anti-air in this zone, and you see my industry bombing is reduced to 0, and other bombing damage is reduced to 0. If I then would build one in this zone here, you see that now I have 16 on both industry and other buildings in this zone. So, and the thing is that if I go up to 5. I'm now on 80% and 80% with some modifiers as well. And then if I add everything relevant in this tree here, I can get this up to 90%, which is the capped maximum on reduction, which is really powerful, to be honest. So, and how powerful I can show you by taking all the Germans and bomb me a little bit with their strat bombers or tactical bombers, but still. Strat bomb there. So now we will have 600 strat bomb or tactical bombers strat bombing Western Poland, and I have static anti-air now in all regions here. So let's look what happens. I'm gonna have this one here to show you as well. So basically you see something pops up, goes away, pops up, goes away, because I only take 10% of all the damage that the strat bombing is doing to Western Poland right now. And you can see here our buildings bomb. Yeah, let's fast forward. It's really not much per day. So my auto repair is doing most of the job quite easily, to be honest. Before moving on, I just want to make a quick shout out to our 3 latest amazing Patreons on the Stug 3 tier. Polaris, Georgia, and Sebastian, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting us. It really means a lot. I just also want to mention that we release a new guide every Monday. This next week, Boppus will make a guide on the US economy, so check that out when it releases in a week's time. And then we also release a Patreon exclusive guide on every second Thursday. And I did one this week on how to read your opponent's build and know what to look for. So check that out. Let's continue. Alright, so the third thing I'm going to show you is how dispersed industry play into this. And the quick version of that is that if you have higher static AA in a region than your bomb damage reduction you get from dispersed industry doesn't do a thing, to be honest, and it doesn't stack with the static AA in that region. So let me show you an example. So now, right now we don't have dispersed industry. In this zone now I have 0 anti-air and 0 reduction to damage. So let's take a couple of levels of dispersed industry here. And then if I click on the same region now, I am pause. You see that I have 45 industry bombing damage reduction in this zone, but not for other buildings in this zone, but 45%, which is quite strong. Without having any anti-air in that zone. But if I start adding, let's do it like this, adding anti-air, you see that it's still 45 on industry, but the other one is on 18, getting all the buffs on that. So if this goes above, let's go up to 4. You see now the anti-air took over because it overhauled the dispersed industry buff that I had, or modifier. So it doesn't work anymore. So if I have 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, all the dispersed industry buffs that I have are suddenly worthless. So just consider that if you want to go for dispersed industry for that reason, not getting bombed. If you have most of your industry in a few regions anyway, and you plan to build static AA, then the bomb damage reduction that you get from disperse is basically worthless because it won't stack with the static AA that is gonna get better anyway than your dispersed industry buffs. So consider that if you want to go down that path. So the last thing I'm going to show you is basically how you can buff the damage output from your static AA when fighting off bombers, strat bombing you. And there is two places where you can look for this. One is the obvious one down the anti-air tree, but that's not what we're going to look for right now because that's already maxed out. But it's under radar. And if you look at the three bottom ones here, they have something called static anti-air hit chance factor 20%. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to add those three, and then we're going to do another test to see how many fighters we can shoot down. But before taking them, we're going to run it a little bit so you get an idea of how many fighters we shoot down before. So now when we do the quick fast forward here and we look at the last 30 days, we basically are somewhere around 120 bombers lost over 30-day period. So let's add the last three here. Now we added 60% hit chance. And now I will unpause and see how many rolling bombers we shoot down over a 30-day period. So let's fast forward to start in November. It will start increase. You see here, it's rolling up to 140, 150, 160. Let's get it to start of November. Yeah, okay, I realize now this is not fair because the Germans are running out of bombers as well. But you can still see, yeah, and there we are, 30 days. We shoot down a lot more than compared than before. So if I would do over time, you see that the bombers are just dropping out of the sky quite quickly. And still, my industry is not hurt at all because I have level 5 on all the regions in this air zone. So it's really, really powerful. And I also now, you might say, those are maybe the starting tactical bombers or strat bombing that Germany is using right now. That is true. I did a test also with really strong strat bombers, and to be honest, it's only 10% of the damage coming through. So even if that gets pumped up quite a lot, it's still going to be reduced by 90% when they start strat bombing. So it does make a difference, yes, but still it's really powerful anyways when you have that level in each region that you want to defend. That was everything this time. I really hope you enjoyed it and you learned something new about one of the less sexy aspects of the game, static AA. But still, now you might consider using it when you play your next game. Thank you so much and see you next time.